Good afternoon, everyone. Gabe Velazquez here with you, transparenttrading-solutions.com. Hope everybody had a great trading week going into the holiday. So, yeah, let's review some of the stuff I went over. I've been tweeting a bit here. Here at TTS, we've had a very nice week. We came in short the S&P on Thursday. We actually are long going into the weekend. We got long NASDAQ at, let's see, 10, let's see. Yeah, we got long NASDAQ. 10,880.75. So that's working out pretty nicely for us so far, thus far. Got a bigger target on that. Also, we were in the night in Nike post earnings, sold the calls on that. So overall, we did pretty good. I mean, obviously we don't get everything right and whatever. So very happy to see my members doing well with all the trades that we're putting out lately. So if you want to join me for 5 days, go ahead and hit the link below and just tell my support staff you want to come in for 5 days. We've got another class also coming up. By the way, everybody, that's going to be on Wednesday. We have Monday off, right, for Christmas. We got Christmas on Sunday. Futures resume trading Monday afternoon. And I am going to do a class possibly in New Year. Okay, Steve. Yep. Yeah, we have a class on Wednesday, by the way, pertaining to some of these strategy we've been using for the new year and so forth. And all in all, some people, this has been a challenging year for some folks. But I'll cover all that in the class. So again, the class is next Wednesday. I know a lot of you guys will be sitting at home, relaxing or whatever. So that's why I wanted to do a class midweek going into the year end. So if you want to sign up for that, it is free. Other than that, really, so let's get into, as I mentioned to you guys on Tuesday and in the newsletter this weekend, I did anticipate that we were going to get a lot of volatility this week. We still had a lot of data. We had core PCE today, which is really, in retrospect, I mean, the biggest moves came from Thursday and Monday, right? And we were able to catch some of that. Now, where do we sit? Let's get into the S&P. So we shorted from, there was that, where we broke down from at 39.20. If you remember, there's a big, you should be pulling up your charts, right? So if you look at your charts right now and you look at, we were in this range for about a month between, let's call it 3,900, 3,920 up to, 4,100. And then finally broke down last, Thursday. And then we actually rallied back up to that breakout point, came down, didn't quite get down to 37.66. We had a target of 3,800 on our short. And now we're kind of back in no man's land, right smack in the middle between the pivot low that was made yesterday, which was 37.89, and the high 39.20. So, is it still possible for the market to rally? Who knows? I don't know. I mean, today we held up pretty well. I mean, we did rally a little bit here. So you could make the case that, yesterday's reversal intraday could have been the start of something. We didn't get much follow through today. But again, technically the seasonal pattern starts today and lasts until 2 days into the new year. And so I guess for now, you can make the case that, maybe this is the start of something. I think, Tuesday when we resume trading is really going to be, if this is actually going to, pan out, who knows what's going to come out of the 4 days. Now, we don't have a lot of data next week. Um, and so it's going to be kind of a light volume, obviously, and so forth. So it's going to be really interesting to see if they can move this thing around going into the end of the day. Going into the end of the year, I should say. What could, the other thing that's going to, really take hold in the next week, closing out the new year, is positioning, maybe some tax harvesting, maybe, there's a bunch of money coming in for the end of year 401k funding and all that. So that's usually why the market is typically, rallies into the last few days of the year. But this is an unusual year to say the least. So we'll see. But again, technically, we're kind of in no man's land. I would say, we've got some strong resistance at 39.20, which is the breakout point. And then there is a chance that we do sell off next week. Maybe we fall back down into the 37.66 level that you can see on your charts. It's a drop-based rally, 37.66, 37.45. But all in all, I mean, we're long NASDAQ going into the weekend. So we're up pretty nicely on that. And we have a much bigger target, so we'll see what happens on that. So the NASDAQ, again, if you look at that, that's exactly the identical level, 38.80 to 10.875 to 10.798. You can see that level. We got long right at 10.80.75. So the NASDAQ's going to run into some issues right around 11,400. So we have a target right along that area there for this long that we're currently in. If we cannot hold on, and still the NASDAQ is still the underperformer, clearly, with Tesla and Apple and all of the mega caps still struggling to get any kind of traction, we shall see. But I do believe, going into the new year, there is a chance we actually break. Of any of the indexes, the NASDAQ 100, the NDX, is going to be probably the one that probably falls through and makes a new low. I think that's in the cards for not towards the end of the year, but I think at the end of the next in January, I think that's a possibility. So, okay. Other than that, really on the equities, again, lots of volatility back and forth, which is great. And one of the things that's also that the Dow didn't quite get down to the level. The Dow is got some really strong distribution right around that 38,860 level. So that's something we'll be looking at next week on the Dow. Now, a lot of the action, by the way, recently here with what happened yesterday with the GDP and the market selling off, bonds have backed. Bond market is back to rates are coming back up again. So we've had this massive bond rally in the 30-year, in the 10-year, as you know from several months ago. But now bonds are coming back off, and we're actually on the 2-year. I think I mentioned this. We're trying to get long the 2-year a little bit lower than where it is today. In fact, I thought we were going to get filled on that today, but we'll have to see how that goes on the 2-year as well. So we've got a couple of situations coming up here in the bond market. The 10-year, which is more important, finally broke that 114 I've been talking about, 113.25. And then we also coming into a really nice level in the 10-year, 112.24. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to be really interested to see if the bond market continues selling off with what's going on, with the still strong, sticky inflation in the economy. So we'll have to see how that plays out in the next few days. Dollar not doing anything, still kind of range bound, still sitting, 1 104, 103 and a half, I would say, to 106. So not a lot going on there. Again, couple of currencies. One of the things you may want to look at, I've been talking about, pull up the peso, right, everybody? Pull up the peso. I've been focused on two currencies that I've been talking to you guys about here, right? What are those? That's the peso and the yen, right? So look at the pesos, had a really nice move today. Don't ask me why, but it doesn't matter. It's coming up to some really nice levels. So if you guys are looking for some trades, maybe next week in the currency markets, I think the peso and then the yen, as we know, Monday, they changed their policy and so forth. And the yen is still kind of hovering after that monstrous rally. It's kind of just hanging in there. That's on the cusp of making a big move as well. So those are the two currencies I would focus on, everybody, is the peso and the yen. Everything else is just really kind of just choppy, rangy, not a lot going on there. And if you've never traded the peso, that's a nice little currency, $5, right? So we'll see on that. Okay. Gold, we're trying to get long gold, GLD, and also in the futures. I think I mentioned that. Not any major change since we were here on Tuesday. In fact, gold is just kind of range trading now between 829 and about 1790, 1829, 1790. So nothing really changing since I spoke to you on Tuesday on gold. Similar to silver. Silver does have a nice level coming up here at around 23 in the low 23s. And then nat gas. So I've been talking about buying UNG with you guys, and we are still trying to get long UNG. It's really interesting because with some of you guys live in the Midwest or in the East, we know that there's some frigid weather, blizzard conditions, and so forth. It's really surprising that nat gas, with that going on, is actually continued to sell off, right? And I think what it is it's because it's here in the U.S. We have ample nat gas. I mean, we have tons of nat gas here in the U.S. If this were happening in Europe, which it could happen, right? I mean, if they can, if they get really bad weather in Europe, that's probably what's going to lift nat gas, because they're the ones that need the nat gas, and we can, we've been shipping LNG and so forth. But in any event, we broke 5. Remember that 5 to 7? Yep. Where do you live, Steve? What part of the country? Yeah, I know. There's it's minus, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's really cold. I mean, in Kansas and KC, they're like 8. They're like sub-zero. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. So yeah, it's gotten really cold. In any event, listen. I think nat gas is coming down deeper into the weekly. If you pull up nat gas, I've been talking about this $5 to $5 all the way down to $4.38. There's a weekly accumulation level that is if nat gas is going to hold, I think it's probably going to hold in the next couple of weeks. If it breaks below 430, then it's probably heading all the way back down into the threes again, right? But we're going to give that a shot. We're buying actually UNG because the futures contract is way too expensive. There are some levels below, but futures contracts, it's extremely volatile, as you know, and a little too expensive. Every level that you pull up on nat gas is $400, $500, $600 wide right now. So that's just not something we want to do with our members. Okay, that's why And by the way, we're looking for a bigger move. I'm not, as you know, I'm not much of a day trader. I actually don't do any day trading whatsoever. So if we buy UNG, it's going to be a longer term hold, maybe for a month or two or whatever. Last time we bought it, we actually were able to get out in about a week or two because the thing moved really fast off where we got in. But okay, oil also, been chopping around, and again on a short-term basis, it looks like it held 70 so far. It's all the way back up to 80. And the thing with oil on the future side, if you have been attempting to trade oil, like oil futures, WTI crude oil, man, has that thing been all over the place, right? Yes, it's been edging higher, but like last week, it just chopped around between 74 and 75, and then it pops, and then it just pulls back hard, and I mean, very erratic. Yes, upward trajectory, right? It's been an upward trajectory, but man, has it been challenging to trade, right? Unless you're willing to sit through $2 pullbacks as it regains the upside and all that. So been extremely challenging. In regards to that, we're still in XLE, by the way, in regards to the energy sector. We did close out, I think I mentioned, we did close out the puts about a week ago. We still have some calls that expire on Jan 6 on the XLE. We had a really nice pop in XLE, in the XLE today. It was up. It was one of the big movers today. I think it was up like $2, right? 2.5, almost $3. If it closes above 87, then I think you got a shot in the 90s on XLE. So if you guys are looking for some energy exposure, XLE is your that's what I've been playing more or less. And then the USO we missed as oil was coming down to. I think I mentioned that I was hoping it would go a little bit lower, but apparently it held right around that 70 mark. So we'll see how that goes going into the new year. Okay. Also kind of interesting, this is again anticipating for next year or maybe even next week. Soybeans, I think I mentioned this again, back and forth. Big, nice ranges, though. If you're able to trade the ranges on soybeans, it's actually not a bad deal. I mean, even yet this week it went down to 1465. It rallied up to 480, but clearly there's a big resistance right around the 1490 on soybeans. And then also I've been talking about wheat longer term. That looks like it's on the cusp of breaking out to the upside. Look at the chart of wheat. That looks like it's on the cusp of breaking out to the upside. So looking at that, possibly, maybe in the new year. I don't know what's going to happen next week. Maybe we get quiet. And then also, corn also looks like it's poised to break out around 675. So all of these grain markets look very interesting to me in relation to, they've had a pretty nice move, and seems to me like the grain markets going into new year are poised for a really nice pop to the upside. I think they actually may have bottomed. So keep an eye on the grain markets, because I think there's going to be some great opportunities on the future side in those particular markets. One last thing. I mentioned yesterday about we had another record put buying last couple of days, especially yesterday. So everybody piled in. I mean, it was like record put buying, and as you can see, that again, that doesn't necessarily mean that the market's bottomed, but even today, as a result of I think a massive amount of puts in the market, I think that's essentially why the market didn't sell off again today, right? In fact, we had a nice pop. Whether that persists again going into, and I think that's what caused the reversal yesterday too. So it's really interesting. If you haven't looked at put call ratios, go to the CBOE website. They have that there. There's a bunch of websites, but I do track that very closely because it's not what people say, it's what people do that is much more important in regards to positioning. Yep. Yeah, Brandon. Yeah, hi. DBA. I'm not. That thing doesn't move, right? Right, Brandon. I mean, it hardly moves. That's why I don't even look at it, to be honest. Have you looked at WEATCORN or SOA? SOY. I'm sorry, SOY. Even those don't move a whole lot, to be honest. So, I'll take a look at that, Brandon, next week. If I like to lose. I like to use the mini contracts, 1,000 bushel. We may put something out, so be on the lookout for that. Okay, especially on the wheat. If you look at the chart of wheat, that looks the best for a massive breakout, and relative to also the longer term chart of wheat. Pull up the weekly chart, and you'll see what I'm talking about, right, Brandon? So I am kind of looking at that. I've been trying to buy pullbacks, but again, there's a gap on wheat. Didn't come down far enough to get filled. I just don't want to put out a bunch of trades and then have them like sit there, as you know. So that's why I've been doing. You have been getting a lot of a lot of the text messages. By the way, Brandon, did you get into some of the S&P and NASDAQ trades this week? Absolutely, JT. Yep. Yeah, I mean, remember I mentioned to you guys last Friday, don't get complacent, right? There's going to be some action this week. And sure enough, look at yesterday. Yep. All right. Awesome, Brandon. Great, great, great. Very nice. Yep. Uh Yeah, I think I think there's still going to be some volatility, and I mean, I think a lot of people got kind of flat-footed this week, right? Remember, I've been harping on you guys. Don't get complacent. Don't I even tweeted about it, right? If you thought holiday trading and all that, you missed out on some great opportunities this week. Hopefully you got some of that, right, JT? We got short yesterday. We got long NASDAQ yesterday also. Yep. Exactly, Brandon. Yep. So, anyways, I do expect some more volatility next week. Now, the only thing is we don't have a lot of data, but I think positioning going into year end and the fact that, this is obviously, again, been an unusual year to say the least. And there's still, what's going on, why you had these moves like yesterday's move is you have to understand that the thinner the market, the algorithms take control, right? So you can't get a lot of the momentum that we had yesterday. The momentum was because, again, if this is possibly in a I don't know, regular session where we weren't in the holidays or whatever, you probably didn't get as much momentum. But the fact that you got a thin market, you got algorithms that can move the market around, that's where you get these kind of moves. And so I think that persists into next week. Okay. Oh, you did? Yep. Yeah. This morning was kind of nutty. I mean, it was all over the map. Yep. It was all over the map. We actually got long. I don't know. You just got in. Uh, Check out Nasdaq on your chart, JT. We got long 10, 80, 80, 75 on the Nasdaq yesterday. You can see the chart, right? Yeah. So we're long from there, and we got a big target. So we'll see. Yep. So, anyways, listen, I'm going to get out of here. I think you guys have any questions? Okay. If not, again, let me just a quick promo. We got a class coming up on Wednesday. We've got, I've got, yeah, we got a class coming up on Monday. I'm sorry, on Wednesday. Um, what else I got going on? Yeah, sign up for the free 5 day. Uh, I think I have like 3 people already to go for next week or the following week. Um, and I think that covers it. So everybody, you guys have a great holiday, right? Yep. Have a great Merry Christmas, everybody. I will be here on Tuesday. Um, Tuesday after the close. Markets resume trading. Futures, by the way, resume trading on Monday afternoon. So we're going to have our regular session that we typically do on Sundays. We'll have that on for my premium members, for my elite members on Monday afternoon. So uh, everybody have a great holiday. Enjoy the 3 days off. Always great. Relax. Enjoy the family. And I'll see you next week. Okay. Take care. Merry Christmas.